Good afternoon, everybody. I want to thank you for joining us. And before I begin with our annual update on our preparedness for the Independence Day holiday, I want to acknowledge the wonderful firefighter and paramedic recruit class of Recruit Class 20. Let's give them a big round of applause. I understand that they're going to be graduating next week and joining our department. So these are the courageous men and women who have answered the call to serve our city, and they are committed to protecting D.C. residents. So we thank them for their service. Now I want to also acknowledge all the members of our team who are here, who are responsible for managing all of the activities this week and responding to any needs that D.C. residents have. So let me acknowledge Chief of Police Peter Newsham. Thank you, Chief Newsham, and Chief Dean, who is the Chief of our Fire and Emergency Medical Service. HCMA Director Chris Rodriguez. I see our Health Director is with us here, Dr. LaQuandra Nesbitt. Our DCRA Director is also here, Melinda Bowling. If there's anybody I missed, let me apologize and give out their DDOT director. My list is too short. A great public service. So please give them a round of applause. Thank you. So we know, in addition to having thousands of people come to visit us this week, we're going to have extreme hot weather temperatures. And just like in any weather and heat emergency, we want to remind people to not leave their pets in vehicles. We want to remind everybody to hydrate. If you work outside, particularly be mindful of hydrating and taking frequent breaks. Wear light colored clothing, lightweight and loose fitting clothes. Watch for symptoms of heat cramps, heat exhaustion, and heat stroke, and apply sunscreen when you are out in the sun. And of course, wear all protective gear that you can for your head. So now I'm going to invite Chief Newsham to come up and provide a short update. Chief Dean will follow, and as well as Director Rodriguez. And following a brief question and answer period, we will go just behind where we are to the church parking lot, where the fire department will provide a demonstration of legal fireworks. Obviously, we have the most beautiful city in the world that you see behind us. We have the nation's fireworks that will commence at sunset on Wednesday night. We are working with all of our federal and regional partners to make sure that people know how to enter the city safely and exit the city safely. We're relying on our entire government, from our first responders and public safety agencies, as well as our DPW agencies, that will make sure that we can get the city back after the festivities as well. And so let me now call up Chief Newsham and wish everybody a happy 4th of July.
Okay, good morning, everyone. I only have about 45 minutes of prepared remarks, but thank you, Mayor Bowser. I want to start by thanking our police officers, our partners at DC Fire and EMS, and the rest of our agency partners who work together not only on the 4th of July, but every holiday to ensure that the city is safe. There's no better place to celebrate the 4th of July than here in Washington, D.C. We have the best parades, the best fireworks shows, and it happens right here in the nation's capital, which you can see behind us. We'll have numerous events planned, including a Nationals game, parades, fireworks displays, which will draw thousands of visitors. We're urging residents and visitors alike to be patient, plan ahead, and be courteous. There are a number of road closures that will be in place, and with the influx of large crowds and increased traffic, additional travel time should be expected. Please remember that the law enforcement and other public safety personnel you see out here are here to help you. They're here for your safety. In addition to treating each other with courtesy, let's treat our public safety officials with courtesy. With regards to security, MPD has been working closely with other city agencies and our federal partners in sharing information and monitoring all potential threats. to ensure that we have a great holiday event. As of right now, there are no credible threats to the Washington, D.C. metropolitan area and no indication of any specific attacks targeting our city. But we always need to be mindful that this is the nation's capital. If you see something suspicious, let a law enforcement personnel know about it. Just like in other previous large-scale events, MPD has increased staffing to ensure events around the National Mall are properly secured without sacrificing the quality of police service that we have in our neighborhoods. We will have uniformed and non-uniformed personnel, so if you don't see a uniform, that does not mean the police are not present. Of course, we're going to have heavy pedestrian and traffic in the city. If you're planning on driving, please understand, just like in past years, many streets around the National Mall will be closed. On Friday, there was a press release talking about these closures that will be redistributed today. If you're using public transit, make sure that you check the street closures ahead of time, find out which metro is the most convenient for you, and at the end of the day, it's really all about planning ahead. There will be access points on the mall for all pedestrians. We have the Barracks Row Parade, the Palisades Parade, the National Independence Day Parade going on all the same day. The mayor mentioned this already. Hydrate, be courteous, be patient, and hydrate. I'm now going to call Chief Dean up to talk about fire safety.
How are you? Good morning. So thank you, Mayor Bowser, for the opportunity to talk about the fireworks and what's going on. I also want to make sure we say thank you to the Friendship Fire Association, who's providing all the cool water and everything for us to keep us hydrated today. So Cadet Class 20. They actually graduate on the 19th, Mayor. So they got 17 days, but I'm sure they're not counting at this stage of the game. So, fireworks. We want to make sure that everybody's going to be safe out there and understand all the inherent dangers. So, just looking around the country, seeing what's going on. So we have over 18,500 incidents every year. And out of that incidents costs $43 million. 1,600 homes catch on fire. Have about 16,900 fires are incidents that happen outside the home. And we have about 40 people that are wounded every year. And, here in the district, I just wanted to share with you that over the last 2 years, we've had incidents involving children and adults. We had an injury to the face, excuse me for my voice, Roman candle that fractured a hand. Oh, no, I'll live through it, Mayor. We had a cherry bomb that blew up in somebody's hand. So we're saying this. Please consider going to the mall, the greatest show on earth, right here in the district. So that's where we think you should go. It's safe for you, safe for the kids. So we have a demonstration over here of all the illegal fireworks. We're going to do a demonstration over here of the legal fireworks. But the reality is this. This is the only time of year that we consider handing a sparkler to a child that's 1,200 degrees that can melt a glass. We shouldn't be doing that. We should make sure that we're teaching kids to be safe and we remain safe. So again, as the chief said, hydrate, please be safe, and we look forward to you enjoying our show here in the district. Thank you, Mayor. And Mr. Rodriguez?
Mayor, good to see you. Well, thank you, Mayor. And now that I just want to talk a little bit about dealing with the heat and some of the preparations that the district, under the mayor's leadership, is making for not only the 4th of July but also the summer season. Under the direction of Mayor Bowser, HSEMA, the Homeland Security Emergency Management Agency, collaborates with the Department of Human Services to ensure that the district's heat emergency plan can bring much-needed relief, particularly to our at-risk residents, seniors, the homeless, and children. On the days when the heat index or actual temperature reaches 95 degrees, today it'll actually be close to about 109. DHS and HSEMA will activate the city's heat emergency plan. That means that district facilities, homeless shelters, senior citizen wellness centers will serve as designated cooling centers for our residents. And these cooling centers are available till about 6 p.m. or until it has been deemed safe to be outdoors for extended periods of time. In all, the district will activate more than 70 locations, 20 cooling centers, 30 indoor and outdoor pools, and nearly 25 spray parks. What we want to encourage residents to do is to go to heat.dc.gov, where you will see an interactive map providing the hours and nearest locations of these cooling centers, pools or spray parks. And I would also encourage residents to sign up for Alert DC to receive heat emergency alerts, and that's available at alertdc.dc.gov. So bottom line is, when the temperatures rise, we want to ask the public and the residents to play a role in keeping everyone safe. So if you see someone who is struggling because of the heat, particularly the at-risk populations that I mentioned earlier, please call the shelter hotline at 202-399-7093. As the mayor mentioned before, please do not leave children or pets in cars for extended periods of time. We know that the temperature in a vehicle can rise about 20 degrees in 10 minutes. So please make sure that you're mindful of that as well. From there, I'll turn it over back to the mayor. Thank you.
One thing I wanted to add is we didn't talk about boating safety, and we know a lot of people will be out on boats this week and throughout the summer, many people who are not familiar with the river. So we want to remind everybody to be safe, certainly the boaters, and to keep their guests safe. I also like to have a message about moderation. We talked about hydrating. We didn't talk about overhydrating with alcohol, and we know we have a lot of incidents related to alcohol during the holiday weekend. So if everybody could just moderate, mixing alcohol and hot weather and family events and fireworks can lead to a lot of different kinds of fireworks. And we want everybody to have a safe and happy weekend. I'm happy to have answer any questions. Yes, sir.
Chief, a question for the chief. You did say that there were no credible threats, but in light of the situation in Cleveland, has that affected the way D.C. is handling this event?
That particular incident has not affected us here in D.C. because we have no credible threats. As you know, we work very closely with our federal partners. If there's any indication of a threat here in Washington, D.C., we would share it with you. We will have measures in place, as we always do, to protect the nation's capital, but we generally don't talk about those measures publicly.
Now, something that was kind of interesting about
please
that
state your name, please.
Ann Cutler with Fox 5. Something that was interesting about that threat in Cleveland was that the suspect apparently was going to hand remote control cars to children with explosives inside. How would you address something that's kind of a smaller scale like that, an individual interacting with the public?
It looks like if you look at Inspire magazine, that people who are trying to do harm to our country and our big cities frequently are trying to find different ways of doing it. So you have to be prepared to adjust according to what the threat is. So you can't focus on one particular threat. You have to be ready for all. In all likelihood, if we have something that happens here in the United States, it's probably going to involve some kind of small arms or some kind of an inexpensive device. We've seen a lot of the vehicle rammings that have been happening around the world and in the country. So you just have to make sure that you're prepared for it all. And the Metropolitan Police Department does a really good job of this. I tell people all the time, there's probably 3 cities in the country that are the biggest targets. It would be L.A., New York, and Washington, D.C. in no specific order. So we have to be on our game all the time. The one thing I didn't mention in my remarks, but I will say here, we say it over and over again, our best defense is the public. If you see something, let somebody from law enforcement know about it so we can intervene. Thank you.
Hold on, I'll come to you 1 second. We'll take all press questions. Yes, sir, Mark.
So is there, Chief or Mayor, is there anything different this year than from last year that people who are familiar that this is routine for us should know that something will be different as far as either getting downtown, road closures, access points, anything like that?
So Mark, the footprint is pretty much the same, particularly for the visitors and the guests that come to Washington, D.C. for the events. They will not have a noticeable difference. We have tweaked our plan, as we do every year, to make adjustments that are the benefit for the overall safety plan, but it's nothing that should impact the folks who are coming down to the mall.
Another thing that is a little bit different now is that the U.S. Park Police, Secret Service, and some of our federal partners will be embedded within our Emergency Operations Center, which will be activated for the 4th of July. So allow that real-time information sharing. We can push information to the mayor, to the chief, make sure that we're following everything in real time. The other thing for the weather is it's going to be hot on the 4th. There are some slight chance of showers, but expect really warm and hot temperatures that day.
Yes. Yes. Hi, hello, my dear.
Is it legal for folks to be using fireworks before the 4th and afterwards?
The fireworks are good through the 6th, and then all fireworks become illegal again. July 6th, yes.
Okay. Yes, ma'am.
Sure. I want to know when does the fireworks stop, and also with this information be provided on the website.
The on the mall, the national fireworks.
No, the information you just informed us, the do's and don'ts.
Oh, the do's and don'ts. Okay, and we have everything on mayor.dc.gov. Yes.
For the 888-777, do we have a specific one for the 4th? You following the National Park Service's alert system for the day, or for the big fireworks display downtown, the parades,
Yes.
etc.?
Yes.
Just the NPS one?
Yes, about their fireworks and when they start and what's coming.
What's the alert system? I know we've got one
Sure.
for big sports events, and
So we will be activating our Nixle real-time texting alert system with U.S. Park Police. We ask people to please text July 4 DC to 888-777 to receive real-time traffic, metro ridership information, and weather.
Is that spelled out July 4th? Is it the numeric?
No, it's the numeric 4.
So
July 4 DC.
all one word?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
And the number again?
Hold on 1 second.
The number is so text July 4 DC to 888-777.
no doubt.
I'm sorry?
Space.
Okay. 888-777.
Okay, the text number. We're going to give it to you straight one more time.
888-777. Text July 4 DC.
Perfect. Thank you guys for that question. Yes. When does the public stop with fireworks?
Yes.
Okay, that was the earlier question that the chief answered, that the legal fireworks are legal through July 6th.
Correct.
Illegal fireworks are always illegal.
But the time when we have fireworks on at 2 and 3 o'clock in the morning.
Oh, the time of day. Well,
There isn't a time.
there isn't a time.
Right.
And Chief Dean, in terms of the barge for the big fireworks display, is the location of the shoot off a barge near the monument? Can you tell us anything about that?
It'll be at the same location it always is. We'll have embedded fire department personnel to ensure that it all goes off well as making sure if they had any that did not fire, that they get destroyed properly also. I don't know what you're looking for, Sam.
Well, it's just a question. I guess it has been an issue in the past. That's the situation.
Okay, I'm not familiar with the issue, but yes, it'll be on the barge. It'll be on the river. It's the best place for it because then we're not concerned about surrounding areas and everything.
Okay. Thank you, everybody. Stay safe. Drink a lot of water.